Please be aware of the upcoming spoilers for this next top 5 list. Thank you. Hello folks, this is Dragon Videos in Charleston looking after one of the top 5 list of She-Ra couples. If some of you don't know, She-Ra is a popular Netflix TV show that focuses on a young girl with the powers of being a super warrior called She-Ra and has to take down the Horde, a group of vicious war raiders who wants to destroy Etheria. I'm going to go over couples of this group that basically have a healthy relationship with one another, as well as bring out the best qualities of them, as well when it's come to a bad situation. I know many of you would have preferred Catra and Adora because of their dynamics in the beginning of the series. However, their dynamics have been on and off a majority of the show, and there are some points where you can't sympathize with Catra. But with Scorpia on the scene, you definitely see a little bit of a softer side with Catra. In the beginning, Catra has been, reluctant to hang out with someone who's big and gullible as Scorpia is. But over time, they develop a nice relationship with each other. For Scorpia, she develops a little bit more confidence in herself as a person, as well as being a little bit more valued as a Horde member. While with Catra, she finds someone to be a confidant to her feelings ever since Adora left, as well as someone to emotionally support her as she continues to struggle throughout the series. And Scorpia, towards the tail end of Season 4, begins to build up the confidence she needed in order to become the princess she was meant to be. Even though this couple seems pretty good for the most part, I put it at number 5 on due to how it's so toxic. I mean, think about it. There was a lot of verbal and emotional abuse that Catra kept digging on her. And true, she's been through a lot as well, but it doesn't exactly excuse it. So, because of her horrible relationship with both Scorpia and Entrapta, Catra is taking a huge spiral towards a very dark place, as we saw in Season 4. And as for Catra, over time, in Season 4, when Scorpia left, she begins to realize of how much importance Scorpia really is to her. Alright, I know some of you have also made a mention of that Bo and Entrapta would be an ideal couple because they just seem to be in common. However, she's 30 and has a huge obsession with science. Bo, on the other hand, doesn't. You see, I felt like Bo and Glimmer would make more sense out of this pairing, but I put it number 4 because, you don't see it too often. Anyway, Bo tries to be the emotional supportive guy towards Glimmer, who always seems to have issues with being a leader. She doesn't have a whole lot of confidence in herself at the beginning of a show and thought of simple solutions that will be like, "Sparkles, go away!" But Bo was the only one who tried to help her understand some of the circumstances of what it means to be a leader. As well as with Glimmer, she relied on Bo as she began to become queen and struggled with the pressures of being Angela. Bo is always such a positive and upbeat person, and he always has such a closeness to Glimmer and Adora, so it would make sense that one of these two would be with him. And Bo is just someone who sees the positive in everyone and tries to put them at the best foot forward no matter how big the situation. So Bo and Glimmer definitely seem like a compatible pair. I know that there would be with someone else, but who would? I have to admit, this is like my second favorite couples in She-Ra. You see, Seahawk is always a super adventurous guy. He loves to take the opportunity, set sail, and have a great time. He is even a very good boatsman and is not afraid to speak his mind and go into any sort of danger that comes his way. However, he does have a tendency of setting boats and possibly other things on fire. He's also a goofball with a heart of gold at times. When Mermista lost her home to the Horde, he tried to cheer her up by putting himself in danger. Though he can be a fool at times, he does try. As for Mermista, she kind of is a bit of a deadpan princess. But don't get her wrong, she really is a caring person. She just doesn't show it too often and has a good sense of logic on her shoulders, especially when it comes to battle. So, even though those two kind of have an on and off thing going on, they do seem to appreciate each other, and Mermista seems to tolerate him. I know this is kind of a bit stereotyping, but these seem a little bit more realistic in the sense of relationships. And these two really seem to support each other and try to help out whenever possible. Dora's character development was phenomenal since season 1. In the beginning, she began exploring the world with Catra, and then suddenly after losing Catra, discovers the sword and begins to question everything she knew about the Horde and the place she was raised from. This sword also gave her the power of She-Ra, a super mighty warrior that helped preserve peace. However, despite all that, she felt pretty much like a fish out of water, unable to understand what she's supposed to do outside the Horde. That's basically where Glimmer comes into play. These two seem to be very supportive of each other. I put them at number 3 because they just seem to make as much sense as Bo and Glimmer, but with Adora, they seem to have some misunderstandings at first, but the relationship begins to grow over time. You see, Adora soon learns about the customs through Glimmer and helps her be more adjustable to the life outside of the Horde. And with Glimmer, Adora seems to bring up some confidence in her and in some ways teach her how to be a leader. Though in season 4 there was a bit of a fallout, but I put these at number 3 because of how they just grow together properly and in the healthy way. You see, Adora was able to grow confident in her powers because she has someone to tolerate her feelings and help her explore of who she is as a person, while with Glimmer, Adora helps her be more confident in being a leader and what she has to do next. Alright folks, the moment you've all been waiting for, the number 1 couple of She-Ra. However, many of you would not be too surprised, but I do not care. I just simply adore this couple ever since I saw them together, and they just make such legitimate sense. Hordak and Entrapta really are an interesting pair, and despite their flaws, they somehow work together so well. You see, as I said before, Hordak was basically this big, scary leader that scared the bejesus out of everyone. Well, not everyone. When Entrapta comes into the scene, she's not the least bit intimidated by his physical features and is easily impressed by his prowess, and he seems intrigued by her in turn. When he yells, "Get out!" she's not even the least bit freaked of what she was doing. And this definitely confused him. Oh, slowly but surely, he begins to accept her as an equal despite her status as being a princess. It was until he finally revealed that he was a clone for the character, the mysterious Horde Prime, which was to be considered the big bad in Season 4, as well as a little bit into Season 5, which is no doubt he's going to be the main contender. Anyway, Hordak was a rejected clone and was banished to Etheria because of his flaws. But Entrapta shows him that he's perfect just the way he is. He feels valued, and losing her suddenly just rips that out of his heart. Just the main idea that someone he trusted suddenly betrays him, supposedly, it really rips him apart, and he even misses her up to the point where he is shown blushing at the mere mention of her name. As for Entrapta, she comes off as a very quirky and scientific obsessed person. She wants to handle any technology from First Ones whenever possible, which is basically concerning. We definitely felt very edgy with her in Season 1 and the majority of Season 2, but she's not without her soft side. You see, she's a very socially awkward person and doesn't really understand stuff. You would think Adora would have those sorts of problems, but with Entrapta, it's the opposite. What makes it even harder is that she was torn in two. You see, the princesses originally thought that Entrapta was dead, but Entrapta was upset that she was left for dead by the princesses. And to make matters worse, Catra managed to put the blame of traitor on Entrapta, which makes the whole situation devastating for Entrapta. And one of the things that made Hordak special was because she didn't feel as quirky with him. She felt special to him, and they feel to have a mutual understanding. And with Hordak, Entrapta seems to be a more kinder person when she's around him. She helps him as well as he helps her feel valued and feels like they don't have to be so embarrassed of being who they are as people. And in some ways, they just feel more open with each other and like to explore things. And I really, which is why I put this at number 1, because not only are they realistic in terms of character development, but they're just so well thought out as characters. And I just really hope they become an official in Season 5, because I would be so bummed if that were not the case. Anyway, I'm off to the beaches of the South Carolina, Charleston. I hope you have a good day and surf's up. This is Dragon Videos signing out.